Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome to the show. Uh, as you can see, the topic, we started off the conversation yesterday. A very interesting conversation. We started off yesterday, and we are going to proceed today. We're going to continue. However, we have two uh, of our brother and sister from Liberia that would be joining us on the show today. Share the show while you're coming. I'm sorry for a few minutes being late here. We were taking care of some stuff, but let's share the show. Let's share the show, guys. Let's share the show. Please share the show. Share the show. Interesting conversation here today we want to have. We want to continue from where we stopped. At some point, Sekou would be joining us. Today it's I don't want to use the words opened, but it's somewhat opened where we can have the necessary conversations here. We just have a lot to talk about to limit this conversation. We do. As you can see the topic, let's share the show. The consequences of election. There are lots of consequences. Some people would like to share what are some of the consequences they've had to face. What are some of the things that they've had to experience, in terms of elections. What has happened, how their life has changed, how their life has been impacted. All of these different conversations we want to have today. But in the meantime, let's share the show. Like I said, we're expecting 2 people to make it. We are expecting 2 people to make it with us. Let's share the show. 2 people to join us here. Again, we are anticipating some very, very high and interesting, stimulating, thought-provoking conversation. As always, we're getting news here that Liverpool has been put in, Manchester United has been put in a situation that they can't handle. As we speak, I think they're 6-0. So it's that's it. Manchester United is being dismantled, humiliated, flogged, whipped, however you want to term it as. But again, let's share the show, guys. Let's share the show so that we can have this conversation. Let's share the show so that we can have this conversation here. As you join us, share the show. Let us know where you're joining us from. As we go through the show, let me a lot of things to talk about in terms of other news and other stuff going up in here. The consequences of elections. Let's share the show, guys. Let's share the show. Lots of different, updates coming up, information coming up from different people on different issues in Liberia. Let's share the show. I'd like to take a quick break here because I want to take this quick call while we're getting ready. Let me go back to our party here. We will no copyright to this, so I'll be right back. Please share the show, please. As you're joining us, share the show. Thank you and thank you.
Amanda
Awetu
Amanda
Awetu
Maipuye
Liberia
Liberia
Liberia, Marie. Jovia. Double.
Trigger.
Aha, y'all move on the road, put your giant ready to take over.
Like it.
Y'all move on the road, Papa come here again. Y'all move on the road, Papa Georgie come here again. Y'all move on the road, Mama Joe come here again. Move on the road, see Tisha come here again. Now the whole country giant come here so better move on the road. I say you're better move your road. You deserve to get away. Pulling back to get away. We come here again. Move on the road, CTC come here again. Yeah, move on the road, Joe, we are coming again. Move on the road, Mama Joe, we come here again. Up in the road, CTC come here again. Now the whole country giant coming so. Better move on the road. Say you're better move your road. Take it away. Better get away. We coming again. We supposed to win the scheme. We coming again. Coalition for democratic change. Now the whole country champion they coming so. You better move on the road. I say you better move your road. You big Paris and get away. Better get away. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come at Table, Mosico corridor. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come. See Tisha shake your body, Tisha shake your body, shake your body.
All right, well, I know some people will get mad at me. Say, wow, let me play this song. Listen. Whether you like it or not, I was song yet. And nobody's to be here, so we'll play the song. Yeah. We'll play that song. We can always play that song. Beverly, what's up, Sunshine? What's going on? Help me to please share the show. I promised to call you, but I didn't. I will. I'm very, very sorry for not keeping up. I will catch up with you soon. But let's share the show, guys. Like I said, lots of interesting stuff going on. I play my CDC song so people won't get veil with me. Y'all get veil. Me and I get problem, yo. Y'all get veil. I stay at the level where I work party and I work with party Monday and I work song. I work video song. Yo. So in other news, it seemed like Manchester United they just got to dissolve the whole Man U team because that other one I pass it to which one they get handle now. They eat something else. But yes, elections have consequences. That's just the truth of the matter. We will be joined here momentarily. Before we get into other news, let's share the show. Yeah, my man said, "Who are playing CDC music, my man. What thing happening? What thing happening? Then I put we like that. What happened? We gotta play the music, brother. Like people will like that. That the music are playing today. The music I will play today for the show. Yeah, that the music I'll play CDC music today for the show. So the president said can be watching the show, and you can be chilling and be dancing. Say cool. I'll play that music for the show today, just so you know. For public service announcement, today we are playing the CDC music or song. That was song. That was song there. What happened? Nobody's too big yet. we all let it. No, to be honest, all joking aside, we'll play the CDC song today. I know I'll get in trouble with some people. I'll get in trouble with lots of opposition members. But hey, good trouble is always good. I can tell you that. Good trouble is always good. Please give me a second, guys, while I am doing this. I got to finish up with what I'm doing. Yes, please let us know where you're joining us from as you are joining. Let us know. Manchester United fan, they tell me today because they say you're talking nonsense to the team. But, well, they signed up for this. Liverpool is having a party with them today. Guys, give me a second here. Let me get this running. As you all know, I'm not on Facebook, so sometimes it's a little harder to get some things running here. So I'm trying to connect on something here really, really quick to get this running. So please bear with me. I don't want to be playing this. I won't play the CDC music during the break time when we're ready to share the show. Like time I won't play it because I can't play the Bobby yet. Yeah. So like time I won't play the music. But let's share the show, guys. Please. Let's share the show. Please, let's share the show. I am trying to get. Let's share the show as we are joining. Yes, yes, and yes. Let's share the show. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I hope I've shared it to all of the people that I need to share it with. If you get your group then, when you share in your group then, yeah, your I hope I've been able to do what I wanted to do here. One more second, guys, and we will be getting with you. Please, as you join us, let us know where you're joining us from. Don't just join us. Be quiet. Let us know where you are joining us from. What else? Let us know where you're joining us from. Okay. Well, I seen people last time with Jeremiah Wabo no party. Today, whose party is it? Let us know where you're joining us from as we get into this conversation this afternoon. Why Manchester United is being humiliated, disgraced, and flogged at the same time. Okay. Is that Wede Thompson watching us from Minnesota? Minnesota. Yay. Minnesota. Marshall City. Lower Magibi. My man, you in my era. You in Lower Magibi? Marshall City? My man, tell I will go there and say hello. From what? Senegambia? Okay. Senegambia, that's good. My man, you in my town, you in my city. Give me a second, guys. Share the show while you are coming on. We intend to have a candid conversation here. Share the show while you're coming on, please. Please and please. Share the show while you're coming on. Please share the show. Well, I guess we'll get this running here really quick. Let me get hold of let me send this information to our people so that they can join. Jusu, you're watching us from France. Today I'm watching you from the East Coast. Joseph Conto Momenta playing, man. You got it, what they call already in your inbox. Let me reach out. Honorable Karishma. Let me reach out to. Yes, so this conversation, we haven't started the conversation yet. We are waiting for like I said, today we're going to be having Honorable Karishma, who's going to be today we have Honorable Karishma, we're going to be in conversation. We're going to be in conversation. We'll talk about a lot of different things. We want to hear her perspective from a female standpoint and so forth. We want to hear her perspective. So we're going to have Honorable Karishma, who's going to be joining us. at some point, um, she's going to be, we're going to be just, we're going to be just having a conversation about the consequences of elections. She will give us some insight. If she can, maybe speak more like, again, she served as one of the observers, or I don't know how you want to term it as, but she will clarify it to us here today. In Nigeria, the most recent election, she was in Nigeria. She would let us know about some of the things she observed, maybe some of the processes. As much as she can go, she will let us know. But like I said, it would be good to have Honorable Karishma here, who will inform, educate us, update us on some things, and we'll talk politics all around the world, about what's going on and so forth. So yes, let us know where you're watching us from. I believe this will be a very, very good conversation. I believe so. I anticipate she never shies away from the conversation. That's one good thing. She's up to the point, to the task in having the conversation. You might not like the way she says it, but hey, she says it as she says it. So that's very good. Afra Kazan is watching us from Dubai. Okay, that's good. Please let us know where you're watching us from. We'll be bringing Honorable Karishma will be joining us very soon, right after the musical break. She will be joining us. Like I said, today we're promoting CDC. Call me how you want to call me. I'm a stakeholder in all the parties. So, hey, guess what? We can talk about all that. So today we'll play CDC music or that song. Okay, you mentioned you're watching us from what? Woodbury, Minnesota. Why be you go to the Coldplay Woodbury? I play cool. Let me say it. They like with that cool not easy there. The cool in that place not easy. But when a cool place you go, so Metro. Ali Donzo. My man, where you watching us from? Ali Donzo, let us know. Please let us know where you're watching us from. And if you write, we will recognize you really quick, and we'll get to the musical break. But Honorable Karishma is getting set and ready. Really quick. She's getting set and ready here. Okay. She is getting set and ready. Let me see. Give me a second. All right. So let's have you share the show. Benjamin is watching from prison. Benjamin, where the prison is located, my man. You can just say you're watching from prison. What's your problem? They got my man, you watching from prison? Which prison? Are you where? Downtown? You in federal prison? State prison? You in one of the local jails because you got arrested last night with DUI, or what's going on? You can't just say you watching from prison, bro. But anyways, let's share the show, guys. Please, let's share the show. We'll get to the musical break really quick. But just in other news, since Benjamin's talking about prison, it's been reported in other news, it's been reported to us, unconfirmed reports are reaching us that Mr. Stanton Witherspoon would more or likely so take a plea deal. They are contemplating on it. They're having the necessary discussions. So a plea deal is being dangled. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes up very soon. A plea deal is being dangled as he awaits to go to prison or to jail or to face justice. However, else you want to term it, but again, a plea deal is being dangled. Wish him all the best. Well, a plea deal has been dangled. In other news, also, even though we're off Facebook, but it has also been reported to us that the government of Liberia, it's finalizing on that, renewing the Spoon Talks license to speak in Liberia, to be heard in Liberia, but they might take it a little further on Stanton's case, or on Stanton. So it's very interesting that we'll follow the details, bring you the updates as these things unfold, because it's important for us to keep you up to date. It's very, very important, because you would recall that let us know where you're watching us from, please and please. Please and please let us know where you're watching us from. Again, a lot of things to talk about. Let us know where you are following us from. John Maolo is saying SKTV should clarify if it's truth that the police is going to fire, or from the communication from the police earlier on, that was an option that they did pull up. If Mrs. Gloria Scott did not show up or did not turn up for the investigation, I think which happened, she turned up sometime last week, unless there are some updates which we haven't followed. But hey, during the course of the show, we'll follow on here. Again, we don't want to keep our friend, our guests, waiting too long. So let's get to the musical break quick. Again, please share the show. A lot of strange things are happening around the world. So let's share the show as we are getting into this conversation. It's going to be very, very important. This morning I was reading through different, international news and our lights, and it seems as though China is taking a route. China is still planning to potentially invade Taiwan. So they've increased the budget, the spending budget, in the billions. Similar thing that Russia did before going into Ukraine. So it wouldn't be, But yesterday, briefly I was hanging out with Sekou, and I listened to former President Donald Trump, twice impeached President Donald Trump, about his comeback in politics, 2024. He was at a CPAC. It's a thing that is done here by the Republicans. They have a CPAC, they have convention. I think they had it in Maryland this weekend. And interesting things are unfolding. We will bring you the details here. But in the meantime, let's share the show, guys. Please help us to share the show as we will be going to the musical break. Please don't you leave us, because we are going to play the Country Giant. It's been a while. So let's get to the Country Giant really quick as we get situated here to get, Karishma on for us to start this conversation.
Amanda, Maipuye, Liberia, Maipuye, Chovia, Double
Trigger.
Aha, y'all want to roll the Country Giant ready to take over.
Like it.
Y'all want to roll again. Yamuonero Papa Georgie kami again. Yamuonero Mama Joe kami again. Muonero CD kami again. Ale wo country giant kami so. Better muonero. I say you're better muonero. You deserve all the get away. Ruling back the get away. We coming again. Who wanna roll cities? He coming again. Yeah, who wanna roll Joe? We are coming again. Who wanna roll Mama Joe? We're coming again. Up in the roll cities, she coming again. Now the whole country giant coming so. Better move on and roll. Say you're better move your roll. Take it away. Better get away. We coming again. We force the winners game. We coming again. Coalition for democratic change. Now the whole country champion they coming so. You better move on the road. I say you better move your foot. You be Paris and get away. Better get away. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come at Deble, Mosico corridor. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come. See the shake your body, shake your body, why don't you shake your body, shake your body, acha le oh, see your le oh, acha le oh. Le oh say, le oh say, we'll celebrate. I wear Mosico corridor. Today is a wonderful day. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate. It's a beautiful day. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate. DJ be already. We'll celebrate. It's a holiday, your movement. We'll celebrate. You be brothers in your way, yeah. We'll celebrate. Nothing you can tell us now. We'll celebrate. Nothing you get to tell us now. We'll celebrate. We are inside the breeze. Politicians ain't worried. Mama, you are inside the breeze. Nobody ain't worried.
Brothers International, y'all.
We feeling we in a race. CDC. We feeling we in a race. Everybody look at this. Feeling we in a race.
Y'all moving on the road because we coming in with four. Kakabella, Jella, Wapi. We coming there, y'all defeated. Big politicians. We putting y'all on the ground. CDC, Fini, take it. We party, y'all can see it. John Man and we are. Joe, Howard Taylor. Crow Brothers, huh? We the one that call the giant. Y'all know we the lion. We don't lie straight for giant. Don't save the people then. On the hands of the wicked one. Darkim and Fuha. So this time they gotta get away. But we are Popo. That's sleeping Papa supposed to Popo. Enter Joe Popo. I'm picking like that's supposed to Popo. They call our heavyweight. That we the champion team. Peaceful we remain. International we do be. Sing with me, say Acha le oh. See oh le oh. Acha le oh. See oh le oh. Power to the people, only for the men and do evil. They say the people why I'm putting them in the spot. They get up thinking, no easy rapping can rap the king. Can I get away? I'm gonna take the in your space. Like Tarako with plugging. CDC now take it. DC, CDC, we the champion team. Boom,
New Jezo, ruling party, you're in trouble. Come on, y'all move on the road. CDC coming in with four. We're not taking the straight for Joe. We're battle out to the chicken pro. AFC say I win the team, but who about wanna win the team? Now we the champion team, so for the win again. AFC say I turn giant, but win a lion from Zion. Now we the whole country giant, we eat again and we eating Kayan. So if you're what, you be people, you'll be making buck. AFC will not summon sir. If you're in one road, I keep with pour in your mouth. Ruling by the jelly, voila, every one of y'all making paka. You guys see we take over, so you're coming in with power. We don't have for making fault, I will offer and making love. All the other party then going straight down to the doors. CDC will stand it up, observing and watching y'all. Y'all think I'm not thinking team, so be cheating the winning team. This time we too aware, so we changing the referee. This time we too aware, so we changing the referee. Y'all move on the road, Papa coming again. Y'all move on the road, Papa Georgie coming again. Y'all move on the road, Mama Joe coming again. Move on the road, CDC coming again. Now the whole country giant coming so. Better move on the road. I say you're better move your road. You beat about to get away. You sleepy, Papa get away. We come here again. Who wanna roll CDC, come here again. Y'all who wanna roll job, we are coming again. Who wanna roll Mama Joe, I come here again. Up in the roll CDC, come here again. Now the whole country, China, come here so. Better move on and roll. Say y'all better move your roll. Joe, we are coming home. Better give away. Amanda, my pouye, Liberia, my Well, the Repo Entertainment, Brothers International,
all day.
I think you know Bill Dunn, Big York, UJ. This time around, take it, CDC. All the way.
Okay, well, I was dancing in the back, and I know some of you are pissed off, but that's okay. It's okay sometimes to be pissed off. Please rest assured that there is nothing wrong with you getting mad. It's just what you do when you're mad that matters. But getting mad is a good thing, as a matter of fact. Sometimes we need to release some of those extra energy. So that's good. It's good that you're mad. Nothing wrong with it. But let's move on while we await Karishma to join us any moment from now. I'm not sure. Somebody's asking what's the hold up. I'm seeing some people that don't normally commenting today. That's good. That is very, very good. I'm reading some comments there from some people that don't normally comment. Hi, boy. How are you? Hi, Sano, your queen. How are you? Vaseon Donzo. How are you? Alexander Boniface Emmanuel. Hey, how are you? Well, I don't know, but a hold up. The guest is going to be here any moment from now. But let's get to something I think that's very interesting. Let's get to the conversation while we await. Let's get to the conversation. Listen, the CDC song, that particular song, trust me, I can listen to that song. That's your choice. You can listen to it, I can listen to it. In fact, CDC, that now our enemy, many of you today who are terming yourself as oppositions, were the same people that brought the CDC on us anyways, when some of us told you guys the CDC would that so because you're there with CDC now, so all of us should be there at the same time. No. We're not all mad at CDC at the same time. In fact, the song is a beautiful song. The wordings are relatable to some extent. It's just that this hope and expectation that was brought up into this song, the euphoria, the enthusiasm, and all of that, it's just that it's hopeless. But the good thing is we get to see the consequences of elections. That is the most important thing. That is the most important thing. We get to see the consequences of elections. We get to live it and see it. For example, yesterday, there was a release from the NPP. The NPP, there's some tripping going on in the NPP. There are some bigger plans going on to get rid of James Banning, who is the actual chairman right now. Now, it's very interesting. It is very, very interesting. Very interesting that James Banning has stood up and said Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, which by all indication is not the head of the party, and by extension, she cannot make decisions or represent the party. Her term expired, and I think she has been there for 2 terms or more. They have to have a new person. If the CDC wants to take her as VP, it is their right to do so. But it does not automatically mean she has the party to offer to them. So that's where this whole noise is coming from. That's where some of these problems are coming from. The government constitutionally upheld James Barney's case, making him the legitimate chairman to oversee or run the party. Let me bring this. I want to bring this home just a little bit because we'll talk generally about some of the consequences of election. And because we are stakeholders, we talk about all the parties. Some of you are already aware. This is similar to the Liberty Party situation. There are some parallels, some similarity. There are some. And it's no joke. There are some parallel and some similarities here. And so James Barney is saying Vice President Joy Howard Taylor does not run a show anymore. She's not in charge. In other words, Vice President Joy Howard Taylor, that government boom. Let me put it that way. She's nothing. She's not important. She doesn't run the party. She's a member of the party. That's it. She's a leader in the party. But there's huge politics going on as to the CDC wanting to be in full control of the NPP, wanting to ensure that the NPP keeps up with the deal. Remember that February 4th ATS paid for endorsement that they had? That they even fooled the Liberian people, they fooled the world at large. There was no coalition endorsement. They made it seem like there was a coalition endorsement, but our findings showed the contrary, that they lied, which in itself is deception. It was okay for them to tell the Liberian people that the CDC, which is the Congress for Democratic Change, bunch of crooks and criminals pile up together. They don't know what they're doing, incompetent or whatever it is, pile up together, claiming that they're on a rescue mission. I think you're hearing the word rescue again around. But we'll get to all of these different things because elections have consequences. Again, the conversation will, just so you know, the show will get noisy at some point. The show will get noisy and the conversation will get very stimulated. But again, back to national issues. Their goal now is to tie the hand of James Barney and get rid of James Barney. They want to get rid of James Barney. They do. They want to get rid of James Barney. Guys, give me a second. Just when we start the show, they don't start misbehaving my people. You're sorry. You're sorry. Let me get him to calm down so that he can't interrupt the show. In the meantime, let's be enjoying this song because we'll pick up right when we get back. Let me get him inside, please. Please and please.
Amanda
Aweto,
Amanda
Aweto,
Maipuye
Liberia,
Liberia
Maipuye,
Chowia 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 Deble
Trigger.
Aha, y'all on the road, the punch giant ready to take
They
over.
will like it.
Y'all on the road, be Papa come here again. Y'all on the road, Papa Georgie come here again. Y'all on the road, Mama Joe come here again. Who on the road, see Tisha come here again. Now the whole country giant coming soon. Better move on the road. I say you're better move your road. You kiss about to get away. Pulling back to get away. We come here again. Who on the road, see Tisha come here again. Y'all who on the road, Joe, we are coming again. Who on the road, Mama Joe, we're coming again. Up in the road, see Tisha come here again. Now the whole country giant coming so. Better move on the road. Say you're better move your road. Take it away. Better get away. We come here again. We supposed to win this game. We Coalition for democratic change. Now the whole country champion they coming so. You better move on the road. I say you better move your foot. You big Paris and get away. Better get away. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come at table, Mosigo corridor. Yen say I'm on Imbo, I say I come. Finish shake your body, finish shake your body, why don't you shake your body, finish shake your body, acha le oh, see your le oh, acha le oh. Le oh say, le oh say, we'll celebrate. And where most go corridor. Today is a wonderful day. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate. It's a beautiful day. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate. Déjà bien ready. We'll celebrate. It's a holiday, your moment. We'll celebrate. You be brothers in your way, yeah. We'll celebrate. Nothing you can tell us now. We'll celebrate. Nothing you get to tell us now. We'll celebrate. We are inside the breeze. Politicians ain't worried. How much you are inside the breeze. Everybody ain't worried.
Brothers International, y'all.
We feeling win a race. We feeling win a race. Everybody look at it. We feeling win a race.
Y'all moving on the road because we coming in with four. Kakabella, Jella, Wapi. We coming make y'all defeated. Big politicians, we putting y'all on the ground. CDC, Fini, take it. We party, y'all can see it. John Money, we are. Este, Joe, Howard Taylor. Echo Brothers, huh? We the one that country giant. Y'all know we the lion. We all lion straight for giant. So save the people then from the hands of the wicked one. Dakim and Fuha. So this time they gotta get away. But we are Popo. That's sleeping Papa supposed to Popo. Enter Joe and Popo. I'm picking like that's supposed to Popo. They call our heavyweight. That we the champion team. Peaceful we remain. International we do be. Sing with me, say Acha le oh. See oh le oh. Acha le oh. See oh le oh. Power to the people, only by the men and do evil. They say the people why I'm putting them in the spot. They get a big enough to see rapping get rap the king. Can I get away? And if the body in your space, like Caracol we plugging. CDC now take it. DC, CDC, we the champion team. Boom,
You Jezo, ruling party, you're in trouble. Come on, you're moving on the road. CDC coming in with four. We're not taking the straight for Joe. We're body, you're telling you.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry for the interruption. My buddy wouldn't allow me to be great. He said, I'm putting me on the show. The man sitting on the couch or the man chilling. Now the other side watching TV. That man, when I bring that man, guy, it will bring noise here. It will bring serious noise. God. That guy that troublemaker on the other side. The man chilling watching TV right now. Nobody's stupid yet. Okay, I'm hoping Karishma will join us any moment from now. I was trying to make contact with her, but I couldn't get hold of her. My man, Alexander Boniface. My man, you in America, man, you give me that statement, yo. You'll be here in contempt. Beverly, no, I didn't want to play that song, to be honest. I had to go get a guy. They got a troublemaker. They got a high guy. They got here how? Oh, they got here how? Man watching TV right now. He was soon come around. He come around. He won't come on the show, but I say him out. So he comes around. I'll bring him on. But let's get back to what we were talking about really quick, just before the interruption. So James Barney is in some serious problem here. As of yesterday, the publication, they notice, calling to them, but this is all planned, scheduled, strategically implemented. It's done, and that's how it's going to be, though. That's how it's going to be. 1 second. It's It's strategically done. Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to the people. Don't be shy. Say hi. Say hi. Greet them. Say hi. All right, go. Bye. Okay, so it is strategically done as to get James Barney off the way, because apparently James Barney has been making his case. James Barney has been making his case. James Barney has been trying to stick with the rules and the laws of this whole program, but they want to take him out. So they're laying the grounds to take him out. But they're doing it from a strategic, quote unquote, legal way. So this is what was published yesterday. Let me read it really quick. The National Executive Committee of the NPP has suspended with immediate effect its national chairman, Senator James P. Barney, for acts incompatible with the status of the chairman, including his failure to honor the instructions of two-third majority of the NEC by not signing the coalition framework document authorized by the executive committee. Now, let's go back. Again, let's go back. My man, stop. It's your way, guys. Let me put it outside. Let me put it outside, please. I'll put up music up quick here. Stop it. Sorry for the distraction.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post your new car on Facebook. But that's so la la. You working better. Loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you in my way I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment. God your blessing. Enjoyment. No more stressing. Enjoyment. God your blessing. Enjoyment. No more stressing.
It's never be another man trash, it's another man treasure. Another man fool, it's another man poison. Got your code, according to your measurement. Got your code, according to your measurement. The player ain't garish, and they play booty. Just because of impression. Fake impression. Impression, yeah. You don't even know my story. Or you want to share my glory, oh yeah. Everywhere you my way, oh, Zangare. Everywhere you my way, oh, Zangare. Every touch you my way, oh.
Enjoyment, God your blessing.
I was dancing again. So let's go back. Let's go back really quick. Okay, I think Karishma should be joining us any moment from now. Okay. Please give me a second, guys. I'm trying to make connection here with helping our guests to get this straightened out.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook, but that's so la la. You working part-time, loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession, you gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment, got your blessing.
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, just before we had a couple of interruptions, which I'm sorry for. James Barney, it's more likely so on his way out. I want you to know that. Okay. These guys, the CDC, the CDC wants the coalition to go back. They did not do what was right from the get-go to renegotiate the deal with the NPP. James Barney seemed to be standing on the way. James Barney seemed to be in the way. They are laying the prerequisites to get rid of him so that he is no longer the chairman. You barely said God. I will address that question. I will tell you how old your dog was and how old is my dog. But anyways, James Barney is on his way out. And because these guys want to ensure that they have the coalition going in as they were before, so they will do anything they can, go around it anyway to get James Barney out. Now, one of the issues that they would have, though, there are some members that are committed to James Barney. There are some members that are committed with James Barney. There are some people that are loyal to James Barney. So this could be another noise or another fight within the CDC, and it could be some serious problems going on. This could lead to a serious divide in the NPP. Where they would go, I have no clue. But the CDC, just so you know, is behind this whole noise. The CDC is behind this noise because they want to make sure James Barney signs. As long as James Barney does not sign as a chairman, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going on. Okay, good. All right. Let me bring on Karishma. She's joining us. What's up, Honorable Karishma? How are you?
I'm okay. I hope you can hear me very well.
Most definitely. I can hear you very, very well. And I think everyone else can hear you very well. How's Liberia? How's the country? How's life? How's everything? Long time.
Liberia is fine. Sorry, I was resting. I think my face looked like I'm still sleeping. Yeah. And the country is fine. Everyone is fine. I hope everyone, let me say hi to everyone watching, wherever you are watching from. I send my love. Happy Sunday, and I hope you all are doing well.
Wonderful. It's good to have you on to talk about the consequences of elections.
And
And if you can speak to it briefly, would you please maybe drill us through the most recent experience you had in Nigeria? I think you serve as one of the observers or something. I'm not sure what your role was. Can you please let us know what happened, what's going on?
you sure, Moses, you know what my role was?
Well, you tell the people.
We were opportune to serve as one of ECOWAS observers for the general elections of Nigeria, which was actually one of the biggest opportunity that happened for us this year, and we learned a lot, and it was a amazing experience. But there are some things I won't be able to say because as an observer on an institution, I'm not allowed to speak for the institution. So,
Right.
but what I observe as an individual, where we can speak on in advising our people on making the decisions, because we are also going to general elections in October, and we want to encourage a lot of young people and our citizens to come out, not just to come out and register, but to come out and vote, to turn up to win voting day, because that's some of the things that we actually, um, those are some of the things that we observe that affected the elections in Nigeria. So I will start first. We had four major candidates in the race. One was from a party called APC, and his name was Tinubu, the guy who won. And the other one, he is from the Yoruba and Hausa side, because Nigeria is highly traditional. Yeah, highly traditional. It's like the way you have Lofa, the Lofians are highly traditional. The way you have Nimba, you have Basa, they are highly traditional. They will go for their own. Okay. So we have Peter Obi. Peter Obi happens to be from the LP party, which is the Labour Party. Labour Party. And he was the youngest top four candidate, because we had 18 presidential candidates, one female. Um, and then the secretary person, his name was Atiku. He's also from a party called PTP. And the PDP, he came second in the elections. And he's from also the Hausa side as well. Peter is from the Igbo side. And then we have Rabi, who came fourth. And the population of Nigeria, we are talking about a total of 225 million population. So out of 225 million population, only 93 million went to register to vote. Out of 225 million people, you had only 93 million that registered to vote, and they did not vote. They register, their own voter registration card is called PVC. That's how they call it, PVC. They will call our own voter registration card. And then INEC happens to be the Independent National Election Commission. That's what Nigeria has, like the way we have NEC
Right.
in Liberia. Yes, so there is called INEC. Okay, so they introduced a system which is more like a biometric system, but it's called BVAC. BVAC. And that system, when you register, when you go to get your PVC, it takes your fingerprint and they capture your face. So when you go to register, they will check your fingerprint From that machine, which is the BVAC, it comes in a form of a tablet, and it will recognize you if you have registered to say yes, this person is a registered voter. So and this person is assigned to this polling unit, and they are eligible to vote here. If you are not eligible to vote at that polling unit, they will tell you you're not at the right polling unit. They will tell you where is your polling unit. You cannot vote there. Secondly, if you did not register during the voter registration process, you did not understand it, and you come in and check your print, and it tells them that you did not register, you cannot vote. Meaning they will have no record for you in that system. So that was used, and the votes counts were done with that system. The votes were transmitted through that system, or supposed to have been transmitted through that system for collation. Meaning, after a polling center is closed, when the vote is counted and all party officials that are present put the signature on that sheet and say, yes, we okay, yes, we are satisfied with the vote count, being a transparent. The next one is the correlation of the results.
Right.
To be announced by INEC. So they made it simple that with that BVAC machine, you can actually snap the results and send it, and the collation center receiver is online automatically. So the results for the House of Rep was going with no issue. The results for the House of Senate was going with no issue, but the results for the presidency was not going. They was rejecting it. So the results had to be given in, whether through text message. There was an offline platform as well with the BFAC that you can send the result through a text message, which of course definitely going to lay in someone else's hand, and it can also be edited, or it can be used exactly the way it was sent. So, and then some of the ballot papers did not have the LP Kennedy on it, Peter Obi. The party was missing on some of the ballot papers. For the senatorial paper, the party was missing on almost all the ballot papers.
Oh, wow.
And so, out of the 93 million people, the current party that won, APC, Tinubu won with 8.8 million. Please write it down, Moses. Yes, he won with 8.8 million votes. And then the second person to him, his name is Atiku. So Tinubu happens to be a former 2 times Lagos State governor. He was governor for Lagos State twice. He also served as a senator before. So he's more like a godfather when it comes to politics. And the party joined a coalition with the current president of Nigeria party, which is the PDP, the APC. So it's a coalition that they merged parties together, and they've been working together. So he supported Buhari in his first term because he was supposed to go on his party ticket then when they did the coalition. But because of the coalition and they wanted to carry Buhari at the time, Buhari was a movement. He was a movement. The young people were supporting him because he came from the military, and it felt like he was in the interest of the people. So they gave him that seat. So he supported Buhari and supported him for the second term. So in supporting him, he became a kingmaker. Someone we call a kingmaker, a person who plays the role in breeding young people, making them leaders.
Right.
So he supported a lot of senators meeting senators, a lot of representatives. He sponsor governance. So he's actually, they call him the godfather of politics in Nigeria. So he played a very key role when it comes to politics. And then Atiku happens to be from the PDP party. Tinubu is his first time running as president. He have never ran as president in Nigeria before. It's his first term. Atiku has run 5 times, and this is his 6th time. Atiku happens to be the former vice president of Olusegun Obasanjo at his term. He was the vice president. And he has navigated from different political parties. You know, in our normal Liberian English, we say, someone who hangs their clothes where the sun shines.
Right.
Yeah, so he's that kind of politician who hangs his clothes where the sun shines. And then Peter Obi, which is the youngest candidate, happens to be a very young politician who came into the race, and he's a movement that he took on social media in the communities, the young people, and all of that. So Atiku won with Atiku came second with 6.9 million votes. 6,900,000 votes. There's a little that behind it, but just take that. And then Peter Obi came tier 6.1 million. So 6,100,000 votes. Rabi that came fourth came with 1,400,000. So if you add those numbers together, we're talking about 22,000, right?
Hold on one second. Yeah.
Moses?
Yeah, we're talking about 22 roughly.
Roughly 22,000. So we had 93. So we will round that up for invalid votes, right? We'll round it up. Let's say worst case scenario, we had how many million invalid votes? So let's say in all, with the invalid votes, with the accurate votes, let's say 30 million people came out to vote out of 93 million registered voters. This is the first election in Nigeria that they had a very low outcome of voters coming out to vote. And this is the lowest a president have ever won with. The figure for a president to win an election in Nigeria with 8 million. Yeah. So and the elections, INEC have a special budget. The cover is separate, like the way we have the road funds. The money for the elections is placed in that cover 1 year before elections. And the budget, the total money for the election, Naira 305 billion. Naira 305, and then in total we have 176,846 polling units around the country.
Wow.
Okay. So I gave you more. I wanted to give you the details. Then we go to the issues. Okay.
So you said 305 billion, right?
305 billion naira. Don't go put US there, you're going to confuse the bull. But someone start running on the live here, then I probably know. All right, so I started. I was the head of my team. I was assigned in Lagos. So we have people assigned in the different states, and I was assigned in Lagos. Firstly, I was employed ECOWAS for giving me such an amazing opportunity. This was my first election observation experience, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot. And we're supposed to give feedback on when the polling centers open, when they close, irregularities, regularity, whatever. There are some feedbacks that we give that I can talk about here. And then later we give our recommendations. But this is how the voting day runs. The voting center is supposed to open from 8:30 and close at 2:30 p.m. You gotta, Moses?
Hold on. The 2:30 is at 2:30 p.m.
PM in the afternoon. The polling centers to vote. You have, is that 8 hours? Let me check it. It's from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. All polling centers are supposed to be closed after that.
So Karishma, really quick, just before you continue, let me make this quick announcement. Please, if you are following us, please help us share the show. These are important information. And Nigeria is not too far from us. We have Sierra Leone next, the election, then Liberia's election this year. Some of these things are critically important that we hear about them so that we can know what happened in other places as to know what to expect and what to do as well. On a side note, as you are aware on SKTV, when we have a guest, if you have a difference with the guest, you like the guest, you support the guest, we're not here for that. But we respect all of our guests and we expect our listeners and our viewers to respect our guests as well. So please, let's show respect to all of our guests. If you have personal issue, take it somewhere else. Because if not, then we'll have to block you. There is no exception.
No, Moses, don't block anybody today, man. Today should be a free day. Elections is we're talking about election. We need everybody to go vote. Don't block nobody here today. Even the people in America that they get family here, we need to tell the people there to go register to vote. We need everybody. We're not blocking nobody today. Anything you want, wear.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you won't be there perfect. His sister say you can be. I'm a part. You can wear. We won't get problem. So, Moses, I wanted to share the video while we're talking. I want to share on my platform, so I want to use my phone. Just 1 second.
Yes, please go for it.
Yes, that's what I was doing. That's why you are now logging into the switch account. I hope if I log in here, it's not going to take me off from over there.
No, not necessarily, because you're on screen, you're on the side. If it does, you can always come back on.
I hope I'll put you that. Then you will be viewing this content on field using. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me share. Okay. I'm live here on.
So, guys, if you are before Karishma gets back, we're talking about lots of money for the people's election. If you have the time, can you imagine 8 million people? Our population hasn't even reached to that. So, I mean, they have a huge budget, which is understandable. It's quite understandable for them to have such a budget. They had 305 billion naira for their election.
Yeah, that's what they used for the election, and that money was provided a year before. It was placed in the INEC cover a year before, so they had everything they needed to prepare. I'm coming to that. That point I raised is a very key point because I want to discuss something that has to do with next year. Up to now, They are struggling for funds. They don't have money, so that's why I checked that. Yeah, so. When we're done, then I will make my points to that.
Okay, wonderful. So this is getting interesting. The fact that Peter Obi also did not have ballots or his picture or whatever it is printed on some ballots.
His party logo was missing from some ballots paper, and mostly the senatorial because they had 3 different ballot papers. They have for the presidency, and they have for the House of Rep and the House of Senate. So when you come to register, when you come to vote, they'll give you 3 papers. It's the same way it happens here. So you vote for the presidency, and
Right.
then you vote for your senator, and you vote for your. So in the Lagos, there is a LP, by right, it's supposed to be the 18 parties. I don't know if all of them have running, if they have senators or representing every one of the place, but whatever it is, whether you is supposed to be stated there. So LP, at one point in time when we're doing the checking of, with the closing of the polling centers, one of the guys had to give in, they had to use pin to put in LP, how you can call it, the mark for that polling center. So it was even someone that had to tell the person what to do. So in
Oh
that
wow.
direction, yeah. So as I was saying, the polling centers open from 8:30. It's supposed to open from 8:30 to the public,
Mm-hmm.
meaning polling staffs are supposed to be there by 7, set up by 7:30. Everything is set up. We got at the polling station, I and my team, at 7:15 to where we were opening, because I was assigned in Lekki, in Lagos. I think you saw a video circulating on social media where there was electoral violence or something in Lekki. So that was
Mm-hmm.
my station. Yeah. So um, we visited over 12 polling centers. And where we started from, the staff did not come on time. They came around, let's say, 8:38, they arrived along with the materials, the annex staff. And then there was no pasted voter register list posted out. And that was not just only to the polling center, because where I was stationed, you could actually walk from one polling center to another polling center, what we call polling units, polling center to another
I
polling center,
think
what we call precincts in Liberia.
mhm.
So theirs is polling center or polling unit. You can refer to it as that, polling center or polling unit. But here we call it precincts. Okay. So we could actually walk from one point to another. All right. So by the time they started, they got set up. It was already 9:38. At that time, we have had a lot of voters coming in, leaving, coming in, leaving, coming in, leaving. Even with some of the voters helping the INEC staff to paste the ballot papers up on the wall and stuff like that. Yeah, and not
They
the
must
ballot
do
paper,
that.
the voter registration, the voter registered list on the wall. They were the one helping them to do it. And for some reason, the citizens were being very calm. They were cooperative, very cooperative. We had military, we had the police all over. The police were very professionals. All of them were highly professional. And even some of the polling centers I visited, there was police escorting us as ECOWAS observers. So we were welcome, and whatever information we needed when we get to each station, the staffs were cooperative, highly cooperative, and uh, and then we visited most of the polling centers. The first person that cast the vote was around 9:49. That was the first person that cast the vote. And my polling center, from getting all the different reports, we realized that my first polling center actually opened earlier. Some opened at 11, and then it had to close at 2. But then the best case scenario is that even though they were closing that early, but majority of the polling centers that were closing that at 2 o'clock, or that had closed at 2 o'clock, did not have voters standing on the line at the time they were closing, because a lot of people did not turn up to vote. Like where I opened from, we had 750 voters on the voter register list, and only 91 person came out to vote. And one of the other polling centers, we had about 500 registered voter, and only 30% came out to vote. Because the BVAC machine, when you come and put your fingerprint, when they find you, they okay you, you are checked in that machine for that polling center automatically. So you becomes one of the voters. So at the end of the day, the BVAC machine sends an automatic response to the coalition center to let them know how many persons voted at that station. So that also protected the empty ballot boxes, the empty ballot sheet. Yeah, so people could not just use them if they wanted to do fraud, to just use them and okay them and drop them. They don't know. We also noticed that most of the boxes, the ballot boxes, were not sealed in the process of votes not being protected. And we must, and for all most of those things that we saw, I must give NEC a hint of applause. NEC has done an amazing job in Liberia when it comes to elections, because when you get to the different polling precincts in Liberia, the ballot boxes are sealed. By right, the ballot boxes are supposed to be sealed, and for any reason you're going to break the seal of the ballot box, you should make the announcement. Party officials should be there. It should be something of that would break a light. It should be something that is very important while you are breaking the seal. Maybe you need to break the seal for you to count the votes. And when the boxes are sealed, it's sealed. And one of the things I admire also from the side, it was a transparent box. The ballot boxes were transparent. You actually see the level of paper as it's dropping and how far it's coming. And then another thing again we realized was, I don't think the staff had ample time for training. They were trained maybe at a half level, but also there was some fear instilled in them, so that we have party officials that were more like controlling the staff, the INEC staff, to tell them what to do, which vote is invalid, which vote is not invalid when we're checking, when we're doing the counting of votes. And then you notice that the INEC staff were a bit scared because, sometimes people are afraid of their life, they're afraid of what's happening, and stuff like that. So we would not interfere in what they were doing. We were just there to observe. So we just stay, we observe what's happening, we pay attention, we make sure that we leave on time where we are safe as well. So I closed my polling centers as well. And most of the polling centers we visited, and where I closed, the vote was checked in public, fully transparent, checked and marked. Party officials signed to okay, and the results were now supposed to be sent through the BVAC. The representative results went, the senatorial results went, but the presidential result was not going. So they would now have to do an offline text. At that time, she said she don't know if it's the internet or what, but it was not going. She tried over and over, it was not going. So, and then one of her colleagues said, but we have the offline platform where you can go like a text message. So let's forward it as a text message. So they forwarded it as a text message. And then my job there was done. And they were by, and someone came and said that they had a coalition center if we wanted to go there, but we were not instructed to go to coalition centers, which we were advised not to play hero roles. So the information we had then was sufficient, and we dispatched to one or two other polling centers on our way, and we knocked up for the day. But then we realized that some of the polling centers were so vulnerable, like some was over like a water, some next to an old man shop that's selling kobo, some just right in the street, the ballot box on the ground, in a market area where they got market table, one body by right to the market table. So it was just, anybody could just come in and disrupt. And people that was going to vote, there was this little white box that was, that they built, that people could go in there to cast their vote. But some places, the people were casting a vote in the open, that you could actually see who they are voting for. And people had their handbags on them going behind the place where they were casting their votes with a phone and whatever to vote. And those are things you won't just easily see in Liberia during our voting time. NEC takes full precaution. With NEC, you cannot go into the voting precinct and carry your handbag with you behind the box where you are voting. Anything can happen at that point. You can actually have excess sheet, and because people will not be paying attention, and okay, maybe 5 to 6 or 10 papers folded together, drop it in the box. People might not notice. So, and then I think so far, unless you ask some questions for me to have some, to be able to answer. If you have some questions, then I can take them.
So now that you've laid a premise here,
yeah,
which I think was very important, we estimated everything, whatever it was, to the entire process. We estimated to maybe we gave them credit of 30 million voters, but the actual registered voters were 93 million.
Yes, 93 million.
So,
and the 30 million, we are just estimating.
right.
Because if you look at the votes that the top 4 had, right, you realize that it's just up to 22 million, right?
You seem half.
So we
you
are
seem half in the camera. You're half in the camera. Is it okay if you?
Am I okay now?
Yes, you're much better than you in the center. Before you are leaning towards that way. Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
So what I was saying is that
the 30
when
million.
you do the calculation, right? 8 million. When you do 8 plus 6.
So that was about 22 million.
Yeah, so we're talking about 22, right?
Right.
So we said that there's some people who just joined in. The first guy won with 8.8 million. The second person that came second, he has 6.9 million. The third person has 6.1 million. And the fourth person had 1.4 million. The rest of the other candidates was just little. Yeah. So if we estimating with the 22 accurate numbers we have, 22 million accurate numbers we have, right? Or you can say 23. We are adding another 7 million on top of it for, let's say, invalid votes.
Okay.
And with the other small votes that came out, right? Okay. So we said 30 million. So 93 million registered voter. 93 million registered voter. Only estimated of 30 million came out to vote. And this election happens to be the first election where presidential candidate to be elected with a very low vote at 8.8 million in the history of Nigeria.
So here's my question to you. Based on what you just said. Why do you think 63 million voters didn't turn up? Do you have any insights to some of the problem or whatever it is?
This is the problem we have in Africa. People will go and get their voter registration card, and they will sit home on voting day and don't vote.
I think she's
There
frozen.
is no problem. You have people posting on social media. There are people that will post and support you on social media, and time to go and register, they will not go to register. Either they will go to register, but time to vote, they will not vote. And let me give you another very important point. 100, take your calculator, Moses, 176,846 polling centers. Each of the polling centers, you have not less than 3 to 4 staff who did not vote. They did not have right to vote. You can check, how many million people did not vote from just that. 176,846 polling centers. And each of these centers had not less than 3 to 4 staff from ANEC. Not only that, 3 to 4 police officials, other entities that came from the company that was in charge of the BIVAC. Some of them were from some research centers that were doing observation. For me, I was an international observer. We are not Nigerians. We are not allowed to vote.
Right.
So it was okay that we were observing. But these individuals I'm referring to, these are all Nigerians who are supposed to vote, who did not vote.
So that was part. So you were saying, in essence,
yeah.
Please, I won't get the point clear. You were saying, in essence, part of the
that calculation for you. Yeah, I want to that calculation of the estimated figure.
Right. So while you're doing that, in
yeah.
essence, the 63 million that did not turn out to vote, some of them could be accounted for those people that were eligible to vote at the polling station that didn't vote.
Exactly.
But was there any restriction that they couldn't vote that you know about? Or
no, why would you leave your precinct at 8? You come to work at 8:30, and you are assigned in red lights, for example,
right?
And you register in Bomi. How do you go vote?
But couldn't they strategically assign it automatically to be able to vote there to get our eligibility to vote? Because considering they were red there, it wouldn't make any sense, like you're saying.
So exactly, we hope that can be considered for the next election. Okay. So that's part of our recommendation.
That's a good point.
But with the issue on here right now, that was one of the major issues.
Okay.
So let's say 3 staff, 3 officers, so 6 per polling center, right? Let me just estimate the lowest, which of course we have more. Okay, so 6 per polling centers. So 176,846. I'm going to times that by 6.
Okay.
Because it's 6 person, right?
Right.
Times 6, right? Times 6. So that's 1 million. That's 1,061,000 people, which is the lowest, meaning it can be more. Yes. So I gave
So we're running up to maybe 2 million.
Yes, I gave the minimum calculation. Because some police center we have more than 4 ANEC officer.
Right.
We have up to 6 police officers. It depends the environment. It depends the population. So
30. Go ahead. 30 million
so even
people.
With that, even if you said 3 million people that were stationed that did not vote, not talking about all the police that were patrolling in their patrol cars. I don't know if they went to vote or what. You had the police everywhere, stationed everywhere. There were checkpoints everywhere, every corner. The country was locked down security-wise. They did an amazing job. Yes. So I don't know if there was if they had means to go and vote, but all the polling centers I went to, I never saw an officer in uniform coming and say, I can't vote. And there was still some places we had campaign running where opposite a polling center, you will see a flyer of presidential candidates still posted outside. So which is not supposed to be that way.
Right. So that's one of the factors that can account for people not coming up. So let's give them 3 million.
So even we still say 3 million.
We still left with 60 million people.
I was 60 million people that did not turn up to vote.
Right. So
because
what are other things you noticed?
I noticed that a lot of times people don't want to come out to vote. So happens here. See the population we have, right? If you compare our last term election results, if you compare the past 10 election results, we have over 3, 4, 5. Now they say we are 5 million, even though the census report is complete fraud, which of course is 100% fraud. There was no census that went on in Liberia. So there was no checking or anything. That report is completely fraud. But with even the record from last census, we say 4 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which presidential candidate have won at least with the population of 2 million votes?
Yeah, it hasn't been possible now that you talk about it. Even going at the second round where you only have 2 people facing now. So that means the 4 million should be able to make a decisive decision.
Thank you. Only if you have people going out to register. The first thing, even when people register to vote, when NEC put the result, or when you don't, you check NEC. When they put the result on, they won't tell you that they had 3 million people that register out of the 4 million, because a lot of people is not educated. There's no awareness on the importance of their vote in Africa. Some people don't know that their one vote can make a decision and can change things. It can give you a better leader. You have a family, for example, like Nigeria, right? You have the north, they are fully Muslims.
Right.
And you know, most of the Muslim people, you have, they will have 2, 3 wives, 6 children, so 6. You're talking about entire household, where almost 50% in.
Mm-hmm.
So if a husband not voting and a wife is not going to vote, definitely you know the children are going to vote.
Sure.
From tradition, right? You understand it?
Right.
But if my father is going to vote, we are from that kind of tradition. My father, mother going to vote, or mothers. Definitely, you know the children are going to vote. They're going to take the side of their parent.
Sure. In most cases, yes.
In most cases, right?
Yes.
Okay. Worst case scenario, if you have a modern home, once you hear your father and mother talking about going away, you have the children too excited to go to vote, to register so they can cast their vote. Who they supporting? Meaning, if you have a modern home where you can share ideas, so they say that me I'm voting for that man you're voting for, but I'm supporting a man and the person I'm voting for, you can have that conversation. But where you have like right now, like I said on my last interview on OKFM, from what I observe in Nigeria, Liberia is not even ready for election right now. That's one. 2, NEC does not even have the support they need to prepare for election. We are 7 months to elections.
Yes, I know you were talking something about the money. I know you were talking something about the money. Okay.
Thank you. So you see how it works for Nigeria. NEC is an independent body. And being an independent body, what makes you an independent body is having a covered, where you have a covered, separate cover for that institution. Meaning, when you talk about budget, if for the next 3-4 years to run NEC or to run NEC from this point to this point, that money is placed there.
Okay.
When you talk about coming to election, you know, 1 year before election, the funds that's supposed to be placed for NEC is placed in that covered. So because you will not get international donors coming to support you, when they see that your government is not doing anything, they will come to support you when they see that you are at least 70% prepared. So in that, you will have to have a certain amount of funds where they see you working, they see you doing awareness, they see that you are active, that you're getting things done, then they come in. And when a donor wants to give, they're not going to be giving the money to the government again. They're going to be going directly in NEC cover.
Okay.
So the only part NEC is going to play, they're going to be highly transparent in giving reports and accountability on how the money is used or has been used or is going to be used. But we are 7 months to election. We want to do biometric. So it's not possible for us to use that biometric for voter registration. Even if we're using it for voter registration, we cannot use it for votes. We cannot use it for the elections.
So
Voter registration don't happen, biometric system, it don't happen in 1 month. The first thing you have to deploy people. Nick got to deploy people in the 15 counties. That's one. Nick deploying people in the 15 counties to do massive awareness. But now next you have online on every TV channels, TV stations in Liberia, a particular ad running to educate people about the vote and about the biometric system that they are trying to put in place, what the benefits and why they are trying to implement it. If the benefit is to protect Liberians' votes, they will tell you that we are doing this to protect your vote. If the benefit is to make sure that when you vote, your vote is counted appropriately, nobody can tamper with your result, it should be mentioned and placed on television. Where there is no television, you needed teams in different districts, different communities, all the counties, going in there on the radio station in the communities to talk to the people, to educate them. The old man are saying cool, we can speak no different language besides cool or mano or gio or bassa. People in our team are going to Grand Bassa. We will have Bassa people there to be able to translate. When you go into Lofa, you get people there to translate as well. If there is a local radio station there, you put a same information in the local dialect and put it on the people's station. There are 3 different local dialects. You have to go in 3 different local dialects. Put it on the radio station. Every county should have it separately. That awareness is supposed to have been out since 6 months ago. If we actually want it, and the biometric system is supposed, they should have started at least maximum 2 years back. Meaning we are now getting prepared. And it's not something that you can start and stop. Biometric system is a continual process. It's something that's supposed to run consistently. So because every time you're going to have people in 1 month time, you have somebody turn 18. In another 1 month, you have another person turn 18.
Right.
In the next 6 months, you have another person turn 18. Someone will turn 18. Every day, somebody turns 18. So it's something, and there should be specific stations where when somebody wants to go into the biometric, NEC have stations in different counties, sub-offices that people can go to and say, I cannot do my biometric.
Right.
Even after election is done. Consistently for the next 6 years, for you to be fully prepared for the following election. And even with that, it can help them with the census. You will have more information. You will know at least estimated number of your population. At least 80% to, let's say 60, between 60, 70%, 75%, 80%. So for the young people who have not turned 18, they will be in a 25%, 30% balance. The babies that are born, the young people who have not turned 18, the kids will be in that category, right?
Right.
But for the adults, those that are eligible, the men, the women, the young people, whatever, who fall in that 70 to 75%.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you another question. We've seen everything that happened in Nigeria in our face, broad daylight or whatever it is. You've said you believe, and I'm paraphrasing you, that we're not ready for elections yet because certain things are not in place, certain things were not done on time at a certain time frame.
Yeah, currently NEC does not have money. Their budget is 68 million. They have received 18 million. The 18 million that they have received is only for them to initiate the biometric process. They don't even have money to do awareness. There is no money in their cover. They are still talking. They are still more like the NEC is an independent body, but from from how it has been, the legislature have not shown interest to actually have a specific cover for NEC to make sure that it becomes an independent body, as they have stated that NEC is, which has not been done yet. And that cannot be done without the legislature that has been placed on the floor they have had it on the tables. It needs to be considered, because with that you won't have results tampered with. But when you have somebody at the neck, it's just a simple Liberian phrase, right? Moses. If you are holding somebody at the neck, just give a case scenario. I'm starving, I'm in the street, I need food. And then somebody come and tell me, say, okay, I will get you food, but you have to clean my house after I give you food. And I'm hungry. What do you think I would say? I would automatically agree, because I need food, I'm hungry, I need water to drink, I'm starving, I've not eaten for 2-3 days. But if I have my food, I can stay on my own. Somebody can tell me, say, come and clean my house, I will give you $5. I'll tell him, no, I'm sorry. If I want to help you, I will help you, but I'm not going to come and clean your house because you want to give me $5. No, because I'm standing on my own.
Let me ask you this question, because in terms of, now we've talked about electoral processes and all of that and so forth. Let's bring it back home to Liberia, because today we want to briefly, for the next few minutes, just zooming on the consequences of election.
Okay.
Now, you being in Liberia, you being in the country, you being in the political arena as well, what would you say from a general perspective, some of the consequences of the elections of 2017? What would you say?
Honestly, I would tell you that if we don't have the rightful thing put in place, we might have results tampered with.
Okay.
Because they might use NEC as a trump card. NEC will be used as a trump card, because NEC will be pulled around. Okay, we gave you this. If the government is going to make it look like they are doing NEC a favor, they will need a favor from NEC. So it's about time the Liberian people understands that. So till we understand that the government is not doing NEC a favor, it's the responsibility of NEC to be able to fully prepare for election, the processes. And it's also the government's full responsibility to make sure that what is budgeted for NEC is given to NEC at least 1 year before election, for them to have it to fully prepare. So best case scenario, worst case scenario, we say they came up with a biometric service noise more than 3 years now. But now we should have been done with the biometric system. It should have started a long time. It should have been used in a process for people to be able to register, people to be able to register for it to start a long time. You cannot be coming to election, we are in March, and you are still talking about initiating biometric system. It's not possible. Like the other day I was on OKDFN, and even Senator Snow had to call him and say that it is true what I said. Definitely, the biometric system is not going to be used for voting process, because we are not ready for that. It's just going to be used so people don't, so voters cannot be duplicated. So if you vote in Maserado, you can't go vote in Grand Bassa, because the moment they put your fingerprint, you register that you have registered. You are a registered voter.
Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that the biometric system on the day of election, considering we don't have stable electricity and all of that, can come out and say, "Oh, it's not working," and you run into similar thing like you ran into in Nigeria, where they had to go use the other system as opposed to the system that was already in place on the day of election?
You didn't get me right, Moses. It's not even going to be used. It's not even going to be used for elections.
Wow.
It's not a biometric system. It's not going to be used. They are not prepared. How can it be used? It's not going to be used. They are only going to do registration using. I honestly do not understand why they are using it in the first place. If you ask me, I will tell you that we should proceed with our normal stuff, and then we move forward. And then after elections, they initiate a full biometric system for the country, where people can have the biometric card that can represent it. Like in Ghana, your biometric card is more like a passport. You can use it even to travel out of Ghana. It has all the features that you have on your passport, on your biometric passport. It's similar, it can be scanned. So that's what they want to do. But at this point in time, we are not prepared. Like for example, how many persons have the citizen ID card in Nigeria? When you launch these things, you have to make it free for the citizen. You can charge them. Can a woman that's selling une cola where somewhere in Foya can afford $4 US or $10 US to go to or citizen ID card? No. Do you have, even in Monrovia, they don't have sub branches? Where you supposed to do your citizen ID card is in Congo Town, that's it. One building. They
Are
don't
you
have
serious?
sub branches. Yes, one building, that's it. In the whole of Liberia, one building, that's it. You are supposed to have the registration national ID card in every county. And not just in every county, in different villages, towns, small box, small places. You set up, that's why you have people, you train people. These are things that even help to create job for people, a job
Right.
opportunity. Because you're sending young people, by the time you open all kind of stuff, like employment,
Right.
you'll be able to employ a few people. You sending, let's say for example, in Foya, you got more than I don't know how many districts in Lofa. So imagine if you decide to establish at least 7 to 8 offices just in Lofa to have people, and sometimes they can even go to the villages. They can do on foot. You go there, you have the machine, you have everything set up. You're staying in one village for one day. You register the people, you give all the ID, you leave. You move to another village.
Right.
It should be free. It should be an initiative that the government can take on and seek donor sponsorship.
So
I don't know who be running these things, y'all.
here is another question. Here's another question for you, Karishma. Here's another question
Yeah,
for you, and then
I'll be giving them a free advice, and they need to be paying me, yo.
hopefully
Guys,
we
don't say
can,
they will listen to they are how you can call it, and they come and take it. They will take it. It's in the interest of our country. If somebody can listen to us, they will give some advices. We give them some recommendations, but a lot of them don't listen.
So I will bring
Unfortunately,
I will bring in one caller. I'll bring in one caller for today. But here is the question I wanted to ask you. You
yeah,
made a
please go
statement.
ahead.
You made a statement that I think was very important. That caught my attention. So I wanted to bring it to Liberia. You said through it all in Nigeria, the people were peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Okay. Here's my question to you. Amidst everything that's going on with this current government, the ineptitude, the corruption, the stealing,
Murder,
the scare
killing.
tactics, or scare people, insecurity and so forth. Should this election be rigged? Do you think the Liberian people will react? Or do
I
you think
can
they'll
speak. I can speak on behalf of others because people react to things differently.
right?
The way I might react will not be the same way Steve you will react when something happens. Similar situations, and sometimes people might react in a positive way for certain situation, and sometimes some things you would do, you would think that I'm just going to get away with it, and it becomes a complete backfire for you, and the people will react in a very negative way. So when you are thinking in that direction, you have to think on the consequences from both sides. That whatever I'm going to do, and I'm trying to step on the rights of Liberian citizen, or I'm trying to do this in my interest because of power or power greed, I'm to expect anything. And trust me, I am 100% sure that the Liberian people will not just sit back for anybody to play with the future. Not at this point.
Okay.
The people are going to speak through the ballot box. I can tell you, I do a lot of engagements. I just don't post everything now I do on social media. I post what I want people to see. I do a lot of engagements in different districts, different communities, and it is tough, Moses. People are starving. The country is hard. There is no job. The economy is broken. I'm just giving you. People cannot wait to make a change. People cannot wait. The only thing is, why I took from this election is that we want people to make sure they come out to register. And not just to register, and vote. We want you to understand that elections are not decided by majority of the population. We also want you to understand that elections are also not decided by the majority valid voters' cards, but rather elections are decided by majority of registered voters that cast their valid vote on elections day.
That makes sense.
So because of that, when you go, you register, it doesn't matter. When you don't register, you keep that card in your pocket, election day pass, you are part of the problem in Liberia. When people are discussing, you should not open your mouth to talk.
Good. I got a caller here if you don't mind.
Yes, so please go ahead.
Caller, what's your name and calling from, please?
My name is Cyrus, Brazilian monk calling from Minneapolis as usual.
Yes, Minneapolis as usual. Brazilian Mon, what's up? What's your take? We have Karishma.
Well, I've been listening to your guests. Thanks for the time. You did some great analysis, except I will respectfully disagree with you on the numbers. You see, in elections, when elections are being rigged, they don't happen on election day. It's a process that you set in motion. What you see happening on election day is just the implementation of the process that you already had in place. The reason people can tell, even the blind man could tell that this election was rigged. Numbers are progressive. Numbers are universal. If you cannot get 1, you cannot get 3. If you cannot get 3, you cannot get 5. So, mathematically and statistically, it's just impossible for Tinubu to have won. And the thing is simple. One of the things you can gauge in an election is something they call momentum. Momentum is the most important factor in election. And it was one of the reasons that the voter registration is increased. When Buhari won in 2019, the total registered voter was 82.3 million people.
Mm-hmm.
And he won with like 55% of the overall vote. Buhari came up with 15 million out of 19 states. Okay. Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, they came in with somewhere between 11.2 million votes. 17.2 million votes. No, they won 17 states with 11 million votes. Okay. Now, people are saying that this going election was consequential because when Peter Obi came to the fray, it brought more of an enthusiasm that increased the number of registered votes. Mm-hmm. So the registered vote increased from 82 million to 93.2 million votes. So if the participation, even if you want to be conservative with the numbers, it still doesn't make sense. Because if more people are registering than previous election, then you cannot have less participation as compared to previous election. It should be the opposite.
Okay, excuse me, Steve, what's your guest name?
Hold on, he almost done.
In Liberia, right? It's just common sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I won't ask him something he said just now. Wait. Yeah, what's your name?
It's Monk. Yes,
what's
it's
his name,
Steve?
Cyrus.
Okay, Cyrus. Yeah, you said that you made a statement just now. You said that there was less people voting or less people registered. I want to get a point, but I did not get it, so I didn't want you to go for it.
Was low. It just does not go.
No, I did not say that the election was rigged. Let me be very clear. My appearance here today was Cyrus. My election, probably from your own analysis, but my appearance here today was to talk about the figures, was to talk about how many people registered to vote, and how many people did not turn up to vote. Over 63 million people did not turn up to vote. So even if you have a movement, if you say I have a movement, and people are coming out, like you mentioned, more people came out to register, what stopped them from going to vote? Did they actually want change?
I'm not saying.
Did they actually wanted a change? You cannot just insinuate that the election was rigged. There are people that will support you on social media and they will lay down in the house and they will not get out to go and vote. And this is something that affects Africa. It doesn't give, for me, I don't have a proof to say any election was rigged. I have a proof as per my data that people did not turn up after registering like the way they are supposed to turn up. Having over 60 million people that registered to vote did not visit the police, the police precinct I was from. We have 750 registered voter, and
Cyrus, hold
only
on.
91 person came out to vote. That alone tells you that the people did not come out to vote.
Karishma, hold on.
I want to make it very clear as a disclaimer that I did not come here to tell anybody that an election was rigged. I don't have any proof.
He said it from his perspective. Let's be clear.
No, he said it, it's clear from the information, blah, blah, blah. So I want to make it clear that it's not any of my statements is not connected to anything of such.
Wonderful. Let's get a caller quick. Yes, caller, what should I calling from, please?
This is Justine. Let me say hello to your studio guest. I wanted to add my voice, not a question. I have not a question, but I do have a comment. I work with a lot of Nigerians, and a lot of people went home to vote. In fact, Twitter could tell you that. But we saw lots of live people shooting at people. Not only shooting, some of the I think it's ENEC or
INEC.
Commission. They did not show up. Some of them show up at 6 o'clock. The polls should have been open at 8 a.m. Some of them didn't show. In fact, some people have to personally go and pick them up and bring them. And we also saw where people in there, because they say, like you rightfully said, that they would.
Oops. The call dropped. I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm sure she can get back. Like what she was Moses. Yes, what she was saying.
So let's Cyrus finish your point so we can let him go. I beg you. Let's Cyrus finish your point. Let him finish your point and we'll let him go so that you can. Okay. Cyrus, go for it, please.
Yeah, I was just trying to lay a premise. I'm not saying that she came here to say the election was rigged. I'm just telling her based on numbers. When people conduct election, they look at past election, look at the result, they look at everything. They look at momentum, they see. It was what brought problem in America that brought a riot on January. It's a simple thing that see happening here. Some things, they are just statistically impossible. I'm saying, because the Peter Obi factor due to momentum, if the number of registered voters increase, then we cannot have a less participation. It has to increase based on the number. We all know in Africa when it comes to voter education, people don't vote. But the level of participation, it just doesn't fit electoral norms. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
They offer like in Liberia. If you are telling me that the population of Liberia is going to increase by the census, then there should be more people to where more people are living.
Right.
You cannot tell me, say, the number in the southeast is double, but Nima County remains slightly different. It doesn't make sense. If people are going to reproduce, they should be reproduced to where people live the most. So the most Rado County, the Nima County of the world, the Bon County, that's what number going to increase. You cannot tell me the southeast that have historically been sparsely or populated can double in recent memory. That's what I'm saying.
Most definitely.
We are both saying the same thing, but in a different way. So I'm not saying you are calling the election being rigged, but we just know that it's being rigged. And one thing about Nigerian election, they vote on tribal and sectarian line. People, their governors, most of the time they interfere with the election. So, like in the North, if the North don't support you, you find out most of the time other candidates don't perform better in a particular region of the country as compared to the South or to the East. That's just what it is. Every governor wants to put his thumb on the scale, and that will have an impact. It's not like a general election. But remember now, it's a federal election where the states got more power as compared to the central government. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you. So let me get Yacindy by really quick because she was calling at one of her Cyrus' opinions point, and then we'll get back to you so that you can close this up for us to go because I know you have other obligations. I don't want to.
It's pretty funny my time to this. So
I don't want to be here in contempt.
Okay. Thank you so much for saying I should call back. I teach government, so I study Nigeria elections and the past elections. We also noticed that as studying for the prison, people open fire there, and they did that the election before last. So there were a lot of stuff going on, and because of technology that was being done in real time, I'm actually just adding my voice. And thank you for coming to talk to us. I know you represented an institution, so I wouldn't put you in a predicament to ask you a question what happened. But we also have to look at historically, how has Nigeria voted? We understand Nigeria got her independence in 1960, so she cannot be compared to Liberia. Liberia is just delayed. Liberia is 175 years old, and it's an old democracy, but yet a young democracy. So we would say, and I want to agree with Mark, that this was a process, okay? So I'm going to stop here. Thank you for availing yourself. Women don't get to speak often. Thank you for speaking up and taking your stand. Hopefully more women can come and talk, and we want to hear you guys, especially in Liberia. We want to hear from you, right or wrong. We want to hear you speak up so other young girls can be encouraged to speak up whenever their voices are. All right? Thank you, and good day.
Thank you. Thanks for having you as well.
So I think the point that Sawas was making, just before I get to you, I think the point that Sawas was making, you guys are saying similar thing. The only difference is because of your position, because of what you did, you are not going to openly maybe say it was rape or it was not rape. That is not your position. You speak
Steve,
for
you're
what
not even
you
going to do that to me. You're not going to. Let me speak complete colloquial to you. Understand it? You're not going to do
okay,
that.
no problem. I will not do that to you. I will not put you in that situation.
Thank you. You put me in no situation again. You know, I'm not going to be in no more Ali situation. You doing me like that? No. More Ali is just a joke here. Okay. I understood Cyrus, and he spoke about governance supporting you, and I understand the politics when it comes to Nigeria. I understand how it is, how it works. But from the results that we got, the result states that people did not turn up. That's what we got. To avoid the same situation, to make sure that we have our results in place, NEC to do the right thing, I think we are not ready for biometric system. To make sure that we have our results, that our election is not tampered with in any way, that Liberians will elect who they want and get the result.
Right.
So in doing that, NEC needs all the support they can have to be fully prepared. We are late, we are way behind when it comes to elections. Okay. Election preparation, we are way behind. And then the lady that spoke, Steve, what was her name?
Yasendi.
Stephanie?
Yasendi.
Yasendi, okay. Yasendi, it was nice having you, even though I thought it was going to come like a video where you can actually talk to the person and see them.
Y'all want to do your female connection thing and gender?
I'm now everyday guest on Skype, but definitely when there are major issues and Steve reached out to me, I always give him a stand when I can speak and when I can.
Right.
So we always want to see something better happen for our country. That's why we are here. We want to see the change. We want to make sure that we are on path. But even with that, with everything that happened in Nigeria, we also realize that NEC Liberia has also been doing an amazing job. When it comes to where they put the precincts, they are decent. The votes are protected. And there are some irregularities. We saw like some a person going to vote with a handbag on them, going behind the backs. Those things don't happen here. NEC take precaution for these things because anything can happen at that point.
Right.
So NEC has its own way of doing good in a different way as well. So we are just looking at the biometric system that they want to implement, and we think that it's not the appropriate time. It's just our little recommendation. That we think not the appropriate time. Yes.
Let me take the last call, and I promise this is the last person. I didn't see it. This is the last person, and that will be it for the day. and hopefully you can give us your
Steve,
parting
you
comment.
call me for your program again. No
I
problem.
beg you. Yes.
Wait.
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Sorry, I missed your call.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Hey, hello, Miss Bellum. Thank you so much for providing us this knowledge, because I've been watching the show since it came on, and what you are telling
You're
us
welcome.
is something that we really, really need. We need this information, and I hope that you can try to get this out to the public as much as you can, so that when we have our voters, fully informed as to what we all begins. So my question to you, very quickly, I know your time is up. Considering that NEC is far behind, they don't have the funding to do a lot of things. Like you said, right now, there should be voter education going on, letting people know when the timeline for voting, for registration, where people should be going, on TVs, on the radio. Like you said, all of these things supposed to be happening now, but they're not because of lack of funding. So do you think that political parties or political institutions or opposition needs to assume that role to maybe help educate the voters?
Anybody can go ahead to do it, but NEC is the electoral body. NEC is the electoral body. It's their responsibility to educate, to do civil education for the citizens, for them to understand. Politicians will go to these districts. I'm a politician. I'm running for parliament. If I'm going to do voter awareness, definitely I'm going to do it in my district. The only reason why I'm on the radio here is because I do advocacy, and I also want people to come out to vote right. But how many young people or how many politicians will do what I'm doing? How many politicians will have interest to go globally or to go nationwide? They will only be interested in going in maybe their community. Some of them will not even care to go in their communities. They will not take the initiatives. So how many people that you are depriving the education from?
Thank you.
So that is key.
Rosalind, are you done with your question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, just she can come back off now. Thank you.
Yes, we'll try to secure her services to come out often, but she had to get. Thank you. So Karishma,
Yeah.
quickly,
Yeah.
just before you give your parting comments, and I thank you so much. We interfere with you did tell me your schedule, and we interfere with
Don't worry,
you.
my meeting task is 8 o'clock now. Yeah, my meeting was 7, so it's 8:20. So it's okay.
Yes, so I know we have to visit and get it straightened up. I'm sorry. But something before you came on, there was something I was talking about. I want to get your parting comment on this.
Okay.
We're talking about elections, we're talking about voting and all of that. We saw how the Liberty Party with Senator John Kanga Lawrence and Musa Bilete, we saw how it went up until today. There was still some back and forth to some extent, but at least some things have been established. But it's been over the year now that it's been going over this. The NPP started something that's very strange. Yesterday, members of the NPP issued a suspension letter for the chairman, James Barney. But interestingly, while we are on the show, I just got a communication, and I will send it to you later on.
Okay.
Let me read it to you. Let me just read it part quick. February 5th for immediate release. March 5th, Monrovia, Liberia, in consultation with members of the National Executive Committee of the National Patriotic Party, which is the NPP, the party announces with immediate effect the suspension of partisan George S. Moluba and Madam Joa Howard Taylor for convening an illegal, unconstitutional gathering in the name of NPP Executive Committee. And long story short,
Moses,
it's crazy. What's going on?
Moses, I'm gonna break something on your platform tonight that I told President George Weah. 9 months ago, I sent him a text message. So when you love people and you try to, how do I say? I cannot advise him because he's a president, but I can give recommendations and I can share information with him because he's a president. All right, so I can use the word advice. Or I can say I can give some recommendations, and when I hear important information, I can share with him. When I visited the parliament in Nigeria, it was sometime if I'm not mistaken, the beginning of last year. And there was this meeting I attended. And that conversation with MPP pulling out from the coalition
Right.
came in. If I'm not mistaken, I think we had a conversation before. If I'm not mistaken. And that information was shared with me when I got back. I was worried. At that time, I have not started going too hard on my party. So I took my time and I wrote a communication to His Excellency President George Weah, telling him what I have heard.
You mind sharing that communication with me?
Yes.
All right, cool.
No, I'm not sharing that communication with you. No way. That's a personal. And telling him what I heard and why MPP was going to leave the coalition. And that he still had time to do something about it. Meaning was to involve MPP in the programs and planning committee, give 1 or 2 people from MPP jobs, have a meeting with them, bring them back and bring them on the table like they are. It's a coalition. They feel entrapped. They feel used and forgotten, thrown away. I shared that information. My president read the information and I gave him some recommendations. At the time, the vice president was being ill-treated. She never even had the means to even go to see the president. They used to make her sit and wait for 6 hours plus. Sometimes she wouldn't even see him. She wasn't even getting her benefits. And I wrote him to tell him that he should treat her with respect and hold her hand. The two, because she's a highly influential woman, not just in Liberia, in Africa at large. He might not know her potential, but he should not joke with her. He should hold her hand, and she should be involved in every decision making. The two of them, they should make it together. They should work together in the interest of the people. My president read the information with other information that I will also share, because wherever I travel, I get information on Liberia, and it's something that I know that is going to come to reality. Nigeria, that what they made decision for all. I can come back. The 1 or 2 people I'm close to at the time from the party, I would advise them. The one I won't listen for, the one I won't listen at him. He read it. When he got done, he blocked my number. He thought maybe I just wanted to read him, or how you can call it. I decided not to bother. And I left it. So when I saw the Rick Monroe started going with MPP, if you see me on my page, you ever see me post anything for MPP before? No. Because I know exactly where it's headed. That decision has been made 2 years back. And the vice president don't have control over it. So if they're suspending her from the party, who am I? For me. What a question again was it?
Can you please share the communication with me?
My papa can listen, yeah. My papa can listen. When I come happy, say, I was saying, so I even told you, I said, as soon as possible to renew your coalition document, renew it. I was clear enough with him. Hey, I the Lord was someone all get for him. We share with him without telling him, without get. Oh, I will let advice. I suppose someone will not listen to all.
I can see that you really love the president. You know, as a father or whatever role he plays in your life. To the extent that you still having, even in your disagreements, you still having in your back there. I can see.
Yeah, my favorite picture when he used to play soccer, so he coming down from him.
Oh,
yeah.
So president, they were good.
He Send me that frame out of my favorite picture when it makes the place. So when I get it, I get one in my room. So you know, tell me that it's there.
Okay.
You'll be president tomorrow. You'll not be president. They suffer title stay there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Karishma, thank you so much. And like I said, sorry that we misplaced your schedule. We didn't, and we interfere with your schedule. But
Moses, I'm actually happy that I'm here today for us to talk about
yes,
something because votes is very important. People coming out to vote, people using social media to run social media days. There are so many people that are popular on social media. Nobody know them in the community.
Yeah, can you please just before we leave, can you please make commitment to our viewers and our listeners that you will come by again, because to get you that problem, can you please make that commitment for all? Yeah, that will put you inside. The other situation will put you inside by fire by force. Any commitment that you will come by, let's.
I gave my commitment today, not because of Steve, not because of that leader that called and said, please be coming back every day. I gave my commitment that I will be back to discuss more national issues and how we can make it better for Liberia. My name is Karishma Pelham Rad. I'm the ex-wife of the late Oso Pelham. As I say ex-wife or wife of the late, because we were not divorced. Wife of the late Oso Pelham. I think a lot of people watching from America should know my late husband, Mona Pelham, oldest brother that passed before her. And I'm a mother of 3. My oldest son is 17. My baby girl is 7. And the one next to her is 12. And I'm currently doing my master's. I'm doing 2 masters right now, one in Liberia. I'm doing international relations. Maybe I'm your next foreign minister. So I'm doing international relations, emphasis on foreign service here, and I'm doing international diplomacy in Poland. So I'm doing most of my classes online. I have some on campus, so I will be going to Poland very soon as well. And then I do a lot of advocacy. I work with most of the student groupings because my vision is to inspire young people, to push young people to make sure our generation is a different generation that is educated, that takes education seriously, so that because when people are not educated, that's when they make the wrong decisions. And what affects our democracy is the level of non-educated people that goes to the ballot box to vote. Sometimes they don't even know what they are voting for. Sometimes someone just says, just vote on number 1. They vote number 1. They don't even know who is number 1.
Right.
Because of the education. So we want people to be educated. We want the awareness to go around. I'm going to be visiting a lot of radio stations just to talk about the voter registration. I just want people to know the rights for the votes and to come out and register. We're going to be doing that. That is going to be that's all we can give. If even I had a means, I would try to connect with all the stations in different counties, even if it's through the phone. So if you're watching and you're from Lofa, you're from Nimba, you're from Grand Crew, and you can contact me and you have means to internet, we can do an interview to educate our people on the importance of their vote. Their vote is their future. Their vote is the future of the children and the future of our country. If you don't vote, if you just sit back and you say you are angry, you are part of the problem of Liberia. And that is what we don't want.
Thank you.
So thank you, Steve.
Somebody's asking just this quick question. Are you still running in District 10?
Yes, I'm a representative aspirant of
the people love you until you start talking about running District 10 again. You go, hi God. And the place you in the poke and break away.
I'm running against Yaka Koluba. Let me just call him here today. I know say you watch the live here.
Hey Lord, you can get my boy Yaka tomorrow.
Yaka and myself, we have mutual respect between each other. When I see him, I will speak to him. When he see me, he will speak to me. And that is how it's supposed to be in politics. And there is no candidate in this district that is running that I have an issue with. So if someone thinks they have an issue because other people are running, then they have not understood the Constitution of Liberia. Because the Constitution states that every Liberian at a particular age for a particular position is eligible So I'm 36 and I'm eligible to run for representative, even presidency. I'm eligible for it. I'm eligible for that. So I can run for
The
anything.
people started liking you until you say you're running against Yaga.
Yeah, I'm running against Yaga. So one way or the other, I know some people who were supporting Yaga, who decide not to support, you support. Those who decide to support Yaga, you support Yaga. Everybody cannot support one person, and the supporters will be divided. But where God got for District 10, and I'm sure God knows that District 10 needs a very good leader, somebody that can stand up for the people and be able to network and navigate and give the information out in a more appropriate manner. District 10 needs a full representative at the parliament, someone that will oversees and oversight things for the district. And that is what we intend to do, not just District 10, but for the young people of this country. And trust me, we're going to make that change. So if you're watching, you from District 10, you already know who's your next representative is. Okay. And if you're from the States, we're going to get back to you for our support. Thank you.
Well, Karishma, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on.
Right,
Thanks
Steve.
for accepting our invite. And like you promised, we'll be on your back to come back so that we can
Steve, don't do every week. No,
not every week. Not every week. We're checking with you on your schedule.
Okay.
We're checking with you on your schedule, and then you let us know when, please.
Okay. All right.
Somebody just said we should please let you know that they want you in ANC. So I mean, my people that we're not here to run your campaign, and Unity Party people come and say they want Unity Party too. So Karishma, thank you. Have a good weekend. A happy new week to you. Let's call it. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. And
thank you, Steve. And thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everyone that came on and shared their idea. And I see a lot of women interested in the betterment of our country because we had, it was called balance. We had 2 guys on the line and 2 female as well. So it was balanced. So that tells you it's 50-50 gender equality. We're not joking with that. And thanks to everyone for sharing the idea, whether, negative way or positive way. Criticism is the way forward. The true criticism will grow. So thank you very much. Thank you, Steve. And can that go now?
Yes, you can go. Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook, but that's so la la.